Bigbossjock radio show. First episode of the series. Analyst assessment. A couple different videos have been assessed, analyzed. People don't realize that what they're seeing on the screen is computer generated. If they don't understand the term computer generation, here's a bit of a definition. What's needed for the programmer is an image placed into the computer. Nothing more is needed for the performance which the people are viewing on the screen. With that in mind, open up the video and follow along. The video is entitled First was uploaded by CBSN on April 4th, 2019. Excuse the errors that will be there in the recording. I have no way to edit. I will continue. CBSN, April 4th, 2019. Clip entitled, Trump threatens to put tariffs on cars coming to U.S. from Mexico. Duration of clip, airtime, 8:02. Go ahead and punch up the clip and follow along. Took the time to write down the words spoken during the clip. The listener of the Bigbossjock radio show can feel free to do the same. Understand what's being placed, the dialogue that's computer generated. The people are listening but not focusing. They're not paying attention to what's exactly being said due to the trickery which is placed to the dialogue. So go ahead and take a pen and paper if they choose to do so and write down the exact words that are being spoken during the clip. If they choose not to, understand that the Bigbossjock previously chose to do so and made an analyst assessment. First thing to note about the video is the phrasing of the title. Trump threatens to put tariffs on cars coming to U.S. from Mexico. Could have been stated and should have been stated in another way. The cars arrive to the United States. They are imported from Mexico. The United States is a very separate entity from the country of Mexico. The two are being confused. The two different themes. The country of the United States, as with the country of Mexico. The clouding of the issue is the attempt to take away the identity of the U.S. citizen, no longer identifying as a citizen of the United States of America, but rather becoming another of the people, one more of them, not considered nor referred to as the U.S. citizen. There are two clips that have been assessed. One is 8 minutes and 2 seconds long, and the other is 52 minutes long. The conference that was held at Calexico, California, on April 4th, I believe, April 4th or 5th of 2019. Not one time did the President of the United States of America name the U.S. citizen. Time and time again mentioned the illegal migrant, referred to that group as people. The same while referred to the U.S. citizen as people. Part of the group of we, another in the group of ours. The United States of America is not and should not be termed our country. Yes, when it's appropriate in conversation, our country. But when that becomes the name of the nation, what happens is the individual's identity is erased. And before not very long, what rolls along is the taking away of the citizenship. First, what is being done is the taking away of the presidency. U.S. President Don is nothing more than a computer-generated image. His dialogue is not genuine. It'll be proven in these analyst assessments. And you people feel free, open up the clip. Understand what is being said. A person does not naturally speak in the way that the language is being spoken, placed to the various events, conference, such as in the clip Calexico conference, which took place in the beginning of April. It's a dialogue which puts the viewer into a trance state. They associate in the abstract. They understand they're another in the group of we. We have a problem. No, the United States of America has a problem. See, it's much different than our country has a problem. The viewer understands when the United States of America has a problem, that affects the U.S. citizen. The USDIA, since 1993, has placed a 5-minute lapse on every broadcast, not only mainstream, anything that is aired to the public through any type of entity, meaning the smaller productions also experienced the computer generation due to the signing of the confidentiality agreement. They have no choice. It's an executive decision, a USDIA directorate. It's referred to as an executive order, USDIA directorate. 5-minute lapse placed to every broadcast. I'm telling you right now, people, explaining. I'm not telling you to do anything. Though I do suggest, go to the local station. Try to watch on a handheld TV what's going on in the studio. Ask, I'd like to see the live broadcast. And compare, and they won't be able to because now it's a cable-connected digital box. Well, I don't know, maybe they can with an amplifier. Either way, witness what takes place at the local television station. The broadcast is not genuine, and in many cases, never even took place, other than in a computer. That's all that's needed, are the images. So with that in mind, take note of the dialogue which is being placed. The misuse of the words you, we, ours. The people are associating with those words. They're doing so in the abstract for a moment. Then during the conversation, when it goes to hard facts, anything to do with numbers, that brings the viewer back to analytical thinking, though at the same while still associating to the words we, you, us. So what happens is they become conditioned. They're forced to associate as another in the group of we in order to understand the dialogue. They do so in the abstract, and when given the analytical information, they consciously understand that they're part of we when referring to the theme, which is inappropriate. If it was done in a clinical setting, it would be grounds for a lawsuit. It's brainwashing, conditioning, and it's incessant. All through the clip, time and time again, the backwards riddle takes the person to the fiddle. They know the tune, and they are ready to play that. Whenever at a future date, again mentioned is the theme. They understand. They're instructed in the form of you. They're identifying, associating with that word, receiving instruction. This is why during the conversation, you know what I mean? You know? The you, anytime is spoken, when heard by the listener, their subconscious locks on. They're awaiting, and they convert that word to I, unless they can abstractly, in an abstract manner, associate the you to the theme and understand you meant everyone in the United States of America is dealing with a certain issue that was just mentioned. Example after example will be given during these clips. There's 2 different clips. There's a serious issue at hand. Yankee Sam, get used to the term. Yankee Sam is the U.S. government. The U.S. federal government with all its auxiliaries to the local level. Yankee Sam is planning on taking away the nation, the United States of America. They will divide the territory at the Colorado River. It's planned to go through the Great Salt Lake and run along the edge of Idaho with Montana. The western part of the United States will be termed an autonomous region. They will put a title, could be Africa, America, might be Aztlan. However that name be, what's going to go on is that the United States of America will be no more. The other part of the territory, the Colorado River to the east, will be termed America. It will have a different flag. The Betsy Ross will be gifted as a form of reparations to slaves that weren't. That issue will be discussed in a while. And don't turn off if they happen to be African descended, living in the Americas, known as a Yankee African American. The history has been based on falsehoods, intentionally, to take away the United States of America. One day soon, you, speaking right to you, and I don't often use that word you, the viewer. Imagine waking up one day, looking in the mirror, and understanding no longer are you, viewer, a U.S. citizen, but rather will be forced to identify as a citizen of America or identify as another in the autonomous region of Aztlan, or will it be Africa America? Either way, what's going to happen is that many will be ushered underground. And what they'll be explained is, who cares? It doesn't much matter what happens above ground. It won't happen for long, and they'll be able to go back to their residences. They can reclaim their properties, and, well, yeah, they'll be allocated compensation. Be able to rebuild. It won't hurt so much. And the plagues that plague the United States at current day, well, how would that be phrased? The problems that occurred due to decades of mismanagement. The president is not spontaneously selected every 4 years. He, and they have all been males, were not the commander-in-chief. They were nothing more than a representative for the group that's actually in power. That group has bankrupted the United States of America. Instead of being held accountable, they're going to pull the plug. There will be no more United States of America, and they won't be held responsible. The new regulations of the nation America will take precedence. They'll be shielded from any type of prosecution. They, select group placed at the USDIA. If the listener is not familiar with that entity, that is the United States Defense Intelligence Agency. There has not been one president in over 150 years that isn't a USDIA agent. That representative acts on behalf of the group that's in control in the USDIA. They are placed at that agency permanently. They receive identities upon their time of birth. They hold U.S. federal identities all their life. They're issued one after another. The group that is in control plans on pulling the plug. Viewer, if you stay with the analyst assessment, by the time the Calexico conference has been assessed, the evidence is there. There's proof enough of what the USDIA is doing. So continue along. It's going to be quite a show. Some hours long. Open up the clip. There's about 60 pages that have been written. I'll use them as notes. And stay on track. This was the first episode. Bigbossjock with our one only God right here inside. He helps me do the rhyme. I do give my thanks to our one only God. For a moment, signing off.